So if this rumor turns out to be true, you're gonna see some serious shit when it comes to Thor and the backlash it's going to get. Now I of course am one of these people who doesn't mind change as long as the end result is pretty damn good. And obviously the new Thor logo was one of the changes that I'm getting used to, but that I'm still not entirely on board with. But when it comes to Marvel Studios, we know that they're willing to change up what we already know. One such thing is when they announced Thor Ragnarok, we all figured that naturally it would be based on the Thor Ragnarok storyline from the comics, which would see Thor die and Asgard entirely destroyed, and then they go on from there. Until today, where we have a new report that is not the case at all. So according to sources, Ragnarok's subtitle does not actually reference the storyline at all. It is actually a reference to a completely different planet that is called Ragnarok. And this planet is going to be where the majority of the film will take place. This is where Chris Hemsworth's Thor and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk will find themselves imprisoned. Thus, this is the way that they can bring in elements of the World War Hulk Planet Hulk storyline. Now, other than that, they cannot confirm anything else other than the fact that Ragnarok will have a, and I quote, Gladiator meets Mad Max aesthetic. Now, apparently on the planet, we're going to see Thor and Hulk team up Avengers style to fight their way out of this giant arena, which is of course going to be run by the Grandmaster played by Jeff Goldblum. He's going to use the help of Karl Urban's Scourge, who's of course the Executioner, and bring in some of the other characters that we've seen cast. Now quickly, let's just take a second and head back all the way to Ragnarok as a planet. And then let's scratch our heads and go, why is this a thing? I mean, honestly, I can see why it would be. It's going to be hard to explain Ragnarok, like the comic version existing in the MCU in the way we see it as. And honestly, if they want to make it a planet, there better be a good damn reason on why it's just now being mentioned and showing up and things like that. You know, it's like, well, if this whole explanation ends up being flimsy, then you got nothing. It doesn't matter how cool the planet looks because you've ruined Ragnarok. And since Ragnarok is a giant belief that the Vikings had, you have to tread real carefully on trying not to butcher this. Now, like I said, I am all for this, assuming it can play out right and do something that we don't see coming that's handled very well. Marvel has shown that they can do this, given the, appropriate, I guess you could say, time to kind of explain it. Sometimes it doesn't work out in their best favor because they rush the movie out, or they, stamp on what the director wanted to do, but just, here's our stamp on it. You get the Marvel stamp. We're going to cut out like half an hour or cut out the entire villain's development. You're like, what? Malekith was probably going to be good though, so it could be a problem, but hopefully this turns out good. You guys let me know your thoughts on it. How do you feel about Ragnarok being a planet?